Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space. August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space is a grand space opera set about 600 years in the future, and as we begin our story, we find Earth on the verge of destruction. Vanguards, these tremendous city-sized robots, have emerged from the void of space to terrorize mankind about 5 years before the start of the novel, and we find ourselves here on the very last day. They're coming to Earth, they're coming home, and this is it. But of course, this is only chapter 1, so we're just getting started. One of the things that I really loved about August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space is the approach that the novel has to music. It really brings the opera to space opera. Our main character, August KITKO, is a virtuosic jazz pianist. It is really through music and really thoughtful, both from a technical and artistic perspective, very thoughtful approach to music, that he and other characters are able to interact with the vanguards, with these giant mechas from space. And so, as a music lover, that's a real treat for me. And as a lover of cool aesthetics, wonderful clothes, and giant robot battles, there was just so much else to love as well. So this book is just tremendously fun. Even when really unfortunate things happen to characters and they're sort of dealt a cosmically raw deal, you're still having a lot of fun, and it's just a wonderful Technicolor fever dream of glitz and glam and the inky black void of space. So, a lot of fun, and of course, when we have a lot of fun, we gotta make a cocktail. Without any further ado, why don't we turn to this week's drink. This is the Starmetal Fizz in honor of August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space. This is the first book in the Starmetal Symphony trilogy, so we've got lots more giant robots to come in the next couple of years. Now, why don't we get started with some fresh mint. We'll get a couple of leaves of mint down into our cocktail shaker. You don't really want the stems because that can get just a little bit bitter. And if you've got plenty of mint, then no problem just using the leaves. Just get that in there. And you can strip it pretty easily just by pulling down the length of the stem. We'll want to get a few hundreds of leaves in there. Depends on the size of your mint, but just see, what feels right for you. Do as the spirit moves you. So we've got our mint in the bottom of our shaker tin, and we're going to just gently muddle that, really light touch with the muddler, just to express those mint oils, to get it really nice and herbally fragrant, that wonderful sort of cold, fresh mint smell. Oh, that's lovely. And then we're going to get a now familiar ingredient, that whole milk powder. When we do fizzes here on Bar Cart Bookshelf, I don't really like to use egg white, just for convenience sake. I like the flavor profile that I get from using this whole milk powder. And so we're going to get a bar spoon of that in there. As always, we want to add our liquid to the powder rather than vice versa. Helps it to dissolve a little bit easier. Now, our liquid ingredients. And we're going to start, let's start with our gin. That's a good way to do it. So we'll get 1.5 ounces of gin in there. Very herbal, classic cocktail spirit. The very first cocktail that is mentioned in the book is a gin fizz. So you can see where we get the inspiration for our novel-specific drink. Get 1.5 ounces of the gin in there. Next, brighten things up with some lime juice. Lovely. 1 ounce of that. You can see we're doing that classic arrangement, the 3-2-1 sour. So 3 parts, 2 parts, 1 part. And so for our sweetener, we've got the black cherry grenadine, and we'll get half an ounce of that in there. And it's going to make things, you know, a little bit pink, and it's going to bring that dark sort of stone fruit quality to it. And it'll really pair nicely with the brightness of the lime, that cool, minty freshness of the mint, and of course that herbal quality of the gin. Now we want to stir just a little bit so that we can help that whole milk powder to dissolve just a bit. And as we do when we make this kind of cocktail, we're going to start with a dry shake. Instead of adding our ice, we're going to shake it on its own for a while. This helps to build a froth, and it helps to dissolve that whole milk powder so that we get a nice foam and we don't get anything in our drink that's maybe a little more textured than we really want. So this is just going to really get a nice solid shake. You really can't shake this too much, but if your arms are getting tired, then certainly it's shaken enough. Yeah, a little extra. There we go. And now it's looking nice and dissolved. We don't really have any of that whole milk powder left, so very clean, very easy to deal with. And now we'll add our ice cubes. Get that down in there. Lovely. Cap it again, and shake it up, wake it up. There we go. Good solid shake on that nice big frothy foam. Lovely. Set our small tin aside, get our handy dandy Hawthorne strainer and the fine mesh strainer, because we really want to make sure that we don't end up with any little bits of mint leaf in our highball glass, or any last remaining bits of the whole milk powder. So I'll give that just down in there. Lovely sort of light pink quality to it. Delicious. Oh, it smells great. I mean, that mint is just so fragrant. That really comes through nicely. And then, of course, when we make a fizz, we've got to top it with some seltzer, club soda, whichever you have on hand, and that's really going to get that froth and foam to form a nice sturdy head. Going to look really great, going to be really refreshing. Just down in there. And as you can see, we're already getting that froth, that separation of the foam that we want in that fizz-style cocktail. Lovely. Let that get sort of right up to the top. And, as you approach the top, you might let some of these bubbles break apart and top it again with just a little more seltzer until you find it to your liking. Now, you can drink straight through the foam if you'd like, or, as I do, you can get that steel straw in there. Top with just a little more soda. Lovely. Nice foaming, fizzing cocktail. Really deliciously effervescent. So, this is the Starmetal Fizz in honor of August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space. August KITKO and the MECHAS from Space is available now. Got a link to snag the book down below, as well as a link to the Boston Shaker, where we get all of our tools and ingredients here on Bar Cart Bookshelf. Links to Twitter and Instagram. We love a link. On Twitter and Instagram, we always have a written version of today's recipe. Please try the drink. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, hit that little bell in the corner so you never miss an episode. We've got new cocktails and mocktails coming at you every Tuesday at noon. And until next time, cheers.